We're studying specifically ancient Sumer, and that's the earliest part of the Mesopotamian civilization. We're going to be discussing literature that was found on tablets like this with what kind of writing?
Cuneiform.
Okay, we can work together to get something that's truly interdisciplinary.
Are you going to be having them make cuneiform tablets this year?
Yeah, they'll be doing that in our class.
My concern is that the experience can be somewhat authentic.
The tablets will definitely take 2 weeks of their time, sort of going over the language and then planning out and actually producing. But that should leave 2 more weeks.
Okay, so you can construct something. All right, that sounds great.
When the kids go to the Met and they see the cuneiform, the cylinder seals, they just flip out. They're like, "Oh man, there's the cuneiform tablets."
This was the
This side.
No, but what about 60? 60 was just down.
60 was-
But the 60 was bigger number down, like bigger.
Okay. In math, we're going to use cuneiform to write the times tables, maybe 8 times tables, whatever we decide to do. They had a sex-adjustable math system, and this leads to 360 degrees in a circle, which is really something that we're going to do with measuring. It leads into our geometry unit. Our time, 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds in a minute.
You want to finish column 2.
Sarah?
18.
Chloe, what do you think? Basic thing for science, we'll talk about archaeoastronomy, how their buildings related to, for making sky observations at night, power of the priest and being able to predict celestial events. We're also talking about the winter solstice. We're keeping track of the apparent motion of the sun. We did it at the equinox and at the solstice.
Well, what I've been hoping to do is to have a performance piece that will take place on the night of the concert. The celebration of Zagmuk, which corresponds to winter solstice, and that really preceded the holidays that we now celebrate. The children have to make the costumes, they have to research the costumes. There's dancing involved. Kate Muth is going to be working with the children in how to actually walk.
Sumerians danced as a row, and then a row would catch up. And then a row.
Taking the information that they need to know and putting it to movement ties in for those children that are kinesthetic learners and need to actually be moving in order to own the information.
I wrote the script for a very short pageant, but it involves Inanna, the goddess, entering. And Inanna is this wonderful story that the kids can really relate to. It's really a cycle of life, and it starts with a young girl and her passage into womanhood. It involves a king. It makes it clear to the children the shift from the matristic society to patriarchal civilization. So we're constantly weaving this theme in and out of whatever we're doing.
Being a new teacher here, I'm kind of looking forward to the integration process. Inanna, who's the goddess of love, fertility, and war. This story has to do with some sexuality and some reproduction issues, which is another unit that we have to address this year. It's going to be a 2-week unit.
We still need to hear from, I think, your integration.
The first part would be myself coming into the classes, visiting, and lecturing on the Sumer diet. Make a paste. So I start out with how do we really know what they ate? In this unit, I would talk about the first farmers, the history of grains. 8 different, they had some pulses, they had chickpeas and peas, which is a good source of protein.
And wheat, the domesticated wheat.
And we could make products with wheat and possibly barley. So we would make either flatbreads, unleavened breads, or leavened breads. We would culminate with a menu that would integrate your unit with a whole lunch menu in the cafe where the whole school participates in a birth of a civilization menu.